Hey guys, we're back. We are doing another James Harden trade machine. If you haven't seen the other ones, do check him out. This is potentially the most controversial, not in the terms of the trade, because it's probably honestly pretty fair, but in terms of I don't know if anyone's going to want or agree that this trade would happen. This one's a weird one, but realistically, money-wise, it could happen. This team could use the help. So James Harden to the Golden State Warriors. What? What do we have?
Crazy, amazing, crazy. So before everyone chirps, I know it's gonna take a lot to get James Harden. I realize this. It's gonna take a shit ton to get James Harden. Watch our other videos. I've said people like Pascal Siakam, Norm Powell, picks,
And Malaki
lock
Flynn,
Flynn,
yeah.
and yeah, and people laughed at it. It's a trash package. And you know what? This one might be as trash. If that's trash, sure. This is going to take a little more in the pick department than what I was saying there the other day for Toronto. But in this trade, we have going to Houston, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre Jr., James Wiseman, the Minnesota first round pick this year, which is top 3 protected but turns unprotected next year, which could even be better next year, to be honest. If not, worst comes to worst, it's still a top 10 pick this year. I'm also throwing in at least one more unprotected pick from the Warriors. I just want to be a little bit in the future, which is what's going to hurt them, because just in case that the players get a little bit older, I'm talking either 2023 or 2024. And even then, it still might cost more. I can see them even throwing in another future pick, but that one being something like top 10 protected. Say if you're doing 2023 and then a 2025 top 10 protected. So now we're looking at 3 could be very good picks on top of Wiggins, who, if he's your third best player behind Christian Wood and John Wall, that's actually a very good team. Wiggins, as much as he's not a star, he's still a solid 20-point per game guy. And the only reason Minnesota wasn't successful with him is because he was the second best player. You put him in there as your third, and he can make noise. Kelly Oubre, another guy who, as a third, fourth guy in Phoenix, still scored 20 points per game. I think that he could be more successful than he is right now with Golden State, but I think he'd actually do just as good, if not better,
Yeah, I could see that.
than Oubre. And then something like James Wiseman. But on the other side, of course, Wiseman is a number 2 overall pick, so enough said about that. On the other side of things, we have going to Golden State, James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Ben Mclemore. I think that's fair on both sides of things. Golden State ends up being very successful in it, just because, again, who are you going to guard? Harden or Curry? You got to guard one of them. The other one's going to score. As much as their front court would be hurt against a team like LA, they would blow LA out of the water when it comes to backcourt. They would blow every team in the league. Like right now, McCollum and Lillard is the best backcourt in the league. Curry and Harden are both better players than Lillard and McCollum, and it's not even close.
Yeah, and they're better, I'd say, than Beal and Westbrook as well, for sure.
Yes,
Curry and Harden, definitely.
definitely. Curry actually plays fairly decent on defense, even though people don't give him credit. In this trade, I'm also sending PJ Tucker the other way to fill the hole that Wiggins and Oubre had on the wing at small forward. I know he's not going to be a star there, but he's going to play solid defensively, and he shoots very good and very efficiently from the corner 3. He knows Harden very well. He's played with Harden for a lot of years. And then I also include something like Mclemore. Mclemore is just more of a salary filler. Sorry, Ben. But it's just to make this trade happen. He probably does get a few minutes in the playoff during the regular season, probably not in the playoffs. But overall, just Curry and Harden, it's so difficult to defend. I don't care who you have in your front court. In this case, they still have Pascal, Looney, Draymond Green, PJ Tucker can play some small ball center, some small ball power forward. They still have an overall average front court, but they have the best backcourt that we've probably ever seen. We think Klay Thompson and Curry's good. Harden, he's also a playmaker. He's a better playmaker than any of them. And he scores more, just as efficiently, and scores more than Klay. It's like Klay Thompson and Curry on steroids.
And
Plus, in a year from now, Klay
yeah,
Thompson comes back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Where we're only talking about it in this year's perspective. Think about it too next year, where even if this
Next
team
year,
doesn't win, if you have James Harden, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and the fact that you could actually have Klay Thompson maybe feel like he has to go a bit less hard because he has a bit of scoring relief, that might be better for his health. I'm not saying it's likely based on how good Klay is, but let's say in that comeback year, you have him off the bench and he's just 15, 16 a game, super efficient. You know he doesn't get hurt in playoff time, just ramp them up. That team, oh my God, they'd be amazing going into that. And
unreal.
yeah, and I guess another thing people probably won't consider where they just hear the players in it, where they just think it was Harden, Tucker, and Mclemore for Wiggins, Oubre, and Wiseman, where a lot of
Wiseman,
people forget the pick aspect of it too, where it's Minnesota's pick going to Houston, and Minnesota's pick is going to be a lottery
top
pick.
10.
Exactly. Whether it's top 15, top 10, top 5,
Could
who
be top
knows?
5. Could be
Exactly.
number
With
4, and that still goes to that team. Or worst
it,
comes to worst, it's protected this year, top 3, and next year it's unprotected.
yeah, and then with that too, when you think about Wiseman, if you take away the player from it and you think of him as a pick, that's technically a second overall pick, a potentially top 10 overall pick, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre for James Harden, and basically PJ Tucker, who's also said he's commented on the Houston organization there, and Mclemore, which, you know what, if you guys like Mclemore, you could change it with anyone else's salary. It's just a salary filler, like you said. So I think in the regard of you're getting, again, a non-playoff team pick and number 2 overall pick, Andrew Wiggins, potential. I don't think he's an all-star. Let's say potential all-star. Kelly Oubre, who solid player in his own
Solid role
right.
player.
Yeah, and you know what? If you really want, you could add another random pick in a few years if you really feel like that's what's going to make or break kind of thing. But yeah, that's where I think too, as much as I would hate to see it happen, I've never been a fan of the Warriors. It's hard to side with a team that you know is going to dominate. But yeah, like if they had a chance to make this move, this is one of the few that I would agree with and say pull the trigger for both teams. And if you look at our other videos, I haven't said that about many other. I've been hesitant to wanting to give up a large package for Harden. In this scenario, though, I would honestly do it if I was Golden State.
And even if it costs Golden State, like I mentioned, potentially 2 extra picks on top of the Minnesota pick, potentially.
Yeah,
One being heavily protected and maybe another one unprotected. And you know what? Sure, Golden State could be by this point a losing team. 2023, I don't see them being a losing team. That's only 2 years from now. Even
yeah.
if Curry is older, like that's still an above average team. So it's probably not a great pick. And in 2025, yes, it could actually be a high pick. But again, I say it would be fairly highly protected. But guys, Golden State, no matter who you're bringing in, and no matter what kind of player Wiseman ends up being, no matter who you're going to bring in through a draft, you're not going to get the chance at a player like Steph Curry again. You're not going to get a chance like a player at like James Harden again. You may get someone like Klay Thompson, but even that is very, very,
Even
very,
then, yeah,
very
like his
difficult.
competitive edge, like things
He's
like that,
amazing.
yeah, makes Clay
He's one of the
very
best
unique.
players in this league.
Yeah,
If he wasn't on that team, he'd be the star player on whatever team he would be on. He is a very, very highly skilled player. Remember when he scored 50 with 11 dribbles?
60.
Like 60. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm wrong. Better. But that's what I mean. You don't know if any of these potential picks can turn out to being half of one of these players, let alone having all 3. Even if you don't win this year, the potential of having those 3 players alongside each other in the same lineup, that's not an all-star game, is amazing.
And let's
I
not
don't
forget,
care who else you put beside them.
and let's not forget too, before we just end this video here, but as like even though the Golden State Warriors would be forced to run guys like Kevin Looney, PJ Tucker, etc. at center in this scenario, they won a title with Saka, and that's before they even had KD there, if I'm not mistaken. Or sorry, they got to KD there the year that they won. But regardless, they still won a title with a below average center. So as good as Wiseman may be, I don't think he's like
They
16
don't
and
need them.
8. Exactly. They'll find a way to overcome because the other guys are that much better. And like they could exactly, and at any point too, they could probably bring in a veteran center to fill in those minutes too. I don't think that's something
For
that would be a huge
minimum,
worry.
because
Yeah,
Look at what Cousins did a couple years ago. Even though he was coming off an injury, he still came in from veteran minimum and still put up what 18-9 for them.
exactly.
So like he's not this. And don't get me wrong, Houston, this is still a very good trade for you. Wiggins can be 20 points per game player. You have him, Wall, Wiggins, and Wood. That's a very good top three. That's not you're not bringing in someone like Siakam or Brown. Sure, you're not an all star, but you're still bringing in again Wiseman, who is a very high pick this year, number 2 overall pick, a potential top 5 pick with Minnesota, and potentially other picks, and then Wiggins and Oubre. It's not bad, Houston. Take it if you can. And Golden
Yeah,
State, do it. Do it now.
absolutely. But do let us know what you guys think in the comments. Like this is, like I said, this is one of the few that we both have a consensus on where it's actually pretty fair for both teams. Let us know if you guys think you agree. Give us some likes, give us some comments, subscribe if you can, and we'll be back next time with some more content on this.